I was playing games on the big computers when I was in school. And then summers I was working in the arcades. And so I really understood the economics of the coin-operated game business. And Pong wasn't very good as a one-player game. And so we were unable to license it. That simple. And so I said, I know this thing will make money. Let's give it a go and we'll do it ourselves. The unit was making so much more money than any other coin-op machine that I knew that it was going to be a huge hit. I just knew it.
If you're looking for teenagers in Mount Prospect, Illinois, you're likely to find them at Mother's Pinball Arcade. They're part of a growing group of video addicts.
Researchers estimate Americans spent up to $8 billion on video games last year.
The average machine has been bringing in $225 a week.
In 1981, Americans popped in between $5 and $9 billion worth of quarters and tokens into the slots of arcade video games.
That's more money than the total combined budgets of the cities of Chicago, Boston, Washington, Dallas, and Cincinnati last year.
Communities around the country are passing laws banning the video games from their towns.
Some areas have even passed laws restricting the use of the games.
But will this popularity last is the question. Well, the makers of video games are gambling that it will.
My name is Lonnie Sobel, and I'm the manager here at Chinatown Fair. I've been in half a dozen different businesses, mostly related to the game industry. You know, almost all arcades, 95% of them have gone out of business over the years. This arcade closed up 2 years ago, and we reopened it because, you know, we made a lot of changes.
It's very hard just to do what I'm doing, which is just have a dedicated arcade with nothing really to go with it. No food, no drinks. It's really just pure pinball and arcade machines. So I'm kind of in a dilemma because I have a regular full-time job. This is done as kind of a side job for me. And it doesn't make any money really to be able to support myself or my family as an occupation.
There are only so many video games out there that people, you know, want to play in the arcade and show off their skills. And the industry has basically kind of changed in the sense that it's moved towards more games where they can win prizes.
So when Chinatown Fair closed, it was very much a fighting game arcade. And then when Chinatown Fair reopened as a new arcade, it very much adopted the family fun center type of arcade. And it's not relying on fighting games or dance games, it's relying on redemption games, Dave and Buster's type of games. And that seems to be the only type of arcade that is making money right now.
Kids have been conditioned over the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years to expect that out of an arcade. When they come in here and they don't see these machines spitting out tickets, a lot of kids don't understand that because that's all they've ever seen a machine do is spit out tickets.
I am Benjamin Thoburn. I am the, purchasing manager here at Coin Op Warehouse. I primarily go out and find the stuff, buy the stuff, do a lot of the deliveries, pickups, and some of the repairs on a lot of the machines.
We sell antique arcade equipment, jukeboxes, antique signs, anything I find cool. The business itself is not very strong, so it's actually a great time for me to buy because a lot of people that are in the business are tired of having equipment sitting in their warehouses. So it's actually the best it's ever been for me for buying, and yet there's still plenty of demand for people who want this stuff in their homes.
Majority of the stuff we actually sell to collectors and other dealers that they've been looking for Mortal Kombat for years and they used to play it as a kid, or they played Ms. Pac-Man in the local bar, so they want one.
If a guy walks in that's my age, he wants Pac-Man or Galaga. Somebody walks in that's 25 or 30, they want NBA Jam or Simpsons or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which to me are not that interesting, but it's interesting that people buy what they remember.
There's actually been a pretty big revival lately of putting the older classic games back in bars and restaurants, and Barcade has been a real good customer for us. That they're basing their bar around the classic games.
Our kind of core audience is like early 30s, mid 30s. People who at least remember the games, and maybe they were too young to play them, but maybe they played them at home. The games are all priced at their original price, which is 25 cents, and our drinks are $6, $7, $8, $9, $12. So the money we're making is definitely coming from the bar.
The economic model for it is tough because you can't charge too much, because your audience that's going to be playing for the most part are adults that remember paying a certain amount of money.
A couple of things have happened. The arcade business got very expensive. You know, you go into an arcade now, it's not a quarter, it's 50 cents, it's $1 for 3 minutes. That's really, really expensive play.
And that's the problem. You know, my goal for opening this business was just to make it sustain itself.
Basically, people play a lot more at home than they do in the arcades. My kids will, you know, have already on the iPad spent $30, $40 buying almost every game that has come out.
I mean, they can play Pac-Man and Donkey Kong on their PlayStation or Xbox, but it's nice to play it in an authentic cabinet and get the experience like they remember having when they were playing it back in the early 80s in an arcade.
I loved going to Time Out in Springfield Mall every Sunday, and I'd spend $20 putting it into Asteroids and the early black and white games, what they were when I was a kid. But I don't see it coming back with the current type of machines that they have. I think it's pretty much over.
Well, I think the arcade is never going to be what it was. I don't think the arcade will ever be completely dead. It's just going to keep changing.
I've been to things where there's a whole amphitheater full of people watching other people play video games. You know, some of the StarCraft conventions and things like that. These are people where all of a sudden it's like a professional sporting event. I think that there will be much more of that in the future.
You know, kids need a place to go and hang out. Something where they can do something, you know, constructive or entertaining.
And I think that the culture has lost something by losing these, what I'd call, loosely formed clubhouses. I think that there's a very big opportunity in creating a new kind of arcade, new kind of experience. It's maybe not your definition of an arcade, but it will give the arcade kind of experience to players in the future.